podcast Eligible In, where we feature eligible guests that you can date. My name is Devin, and I'm your host. And today we are so excited to be introducing Kate. Just a quick reminder, as always, if you enjoy the conversation, please give us a follow on social media and be sure to subscribe to us on your preferred podcast platform so that you're notified when new episodes drop. Welcome, Kate.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Of course. We're so excited to chat. I'm wondering if we could start off by you just telling us a bit about yourself. So, where you're from, what brought you to Chicago, and what you do for work, things like that.
Sure, yeah. And first of all, if you hear any taps on the floor, that's my dog. He hates when I'm talking to people that aren't him. If that's what that noise, if you hear noise, it's him.
What's
Um,
his name?
Come here. You want to say hi,
Yeah,
buddy?
let's
This
intro
is
them.
this is
Ah,
Nugget. Hi. He just turned 10 last week. So
good. You'd never
he's
know.
I know, he's got the energy of a puppy, but
Yes.
he's getting old. So he does not like attention not being on him.
Yeah. Makes sense. I don't either, really.
Who doesn't? My name is Kate. I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. I've been in Chicago, just about 3 years now. Moved up here for a job. I was looking for new jobs after COVID and had wanted to move to Chicago forever because I do improv comedy. And I also have a master's in museum and artifact studies. And so what better city in the world is there for museums and comedy than Chicago? So been trying to get out here forever. Finally got a job that allowed me to move out here. And so been here ever since.
I love that. That's awesome. How long did you say you've been in Chicago?
3 years.
Well, awesome. Okay. So you've got a feel for it by now.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. What are some so you mentioned improv. What are some
Mhm.
other sort of like non-work things that you enjoy doing?
I'm a big baker, so during COVID, I taught myself how to bake macarons, the, French sandwich cookies.
Okay, I was
Mm.
like, is he saying macaroon?
No, those are coconut
Different?
baked. Yeah.
Okay, different. All right.
Those look like little tiny mountains with, chocolate on top.
Yes.
Yeah, macarons are, 2 little French sandwich cookies with, ruffles on the bottom,
Okay.
with something sandwiched between.
Yep.
Yeah.
So turns out I think I've been pronouncing it wrong this whole time.
Everybody says macaroons, so, I just say macaron because 'cause I've watched so much Great British
Yeah.
Bake Off that, I feel like I'm saying it wrong if I say macaroon, but
Right.
anybody else, feel free to mispronounce it, I don't care.
Right. You'd have to assume they know what they're talking about.
Probably.
So you mentioned that I think you have a degree in museum and artifact studies,
Yeah,
which is so interesting. What
thanks.
is that? What does that mean? What sparked that interest? Did like grow up going to museums?
I did, yeah, so my parents, from a very young age, wanted my sister and I to know that the world was much bigger than Dallas, Texas, and I'm very grateful for that, because both my parents are from the West Coast. My dad was in the Army and my mom worked for the Army, so they met in Korea. And then my sister was born in Germany and I was born in Virginia. And we moved to Texas after my dad retired from the Army, so they were like, "We can't just let these kids think that Texas is the entire world." So we traveled a good amount when I was a kid. We went to, oh gosh, quite a few museums. We went to, I remember, go see where my sister was born and got to see German castles when I was younger. And I just remember being just in love with history and all of the good stuff that comes with it. So when I was in college trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I was originally going to do theater and then was like, there's no way I can make money in theater. So I'm going to go into anthropology, which that's any better. Um, and then within anthropology, really fell in love with museum anthropology, started volunteering at a museum in Seattle near where I went to college. And then right after college, not volunteered, I interned at the Smithsonian American History Museum and was just obsessed. I was like, okay, this is the best job in the world. This
Yeah.
is what I want to do forever. Then went to grad school and learned that museums are very hard to get jobs in. So
Mhm.
I have not been the most fortunate with getting a lot of museum work, but
Yep.
I will visit as much as I can. And also a lot of museum work is very introverted. Studying museums, you're learning how to hold and care for artifacts.
Mm,
You're learning temperature and relative humidity and what sorts of objects, how they kind of decompose over time. And I'm such an extrovert that if you make
yeah.
me all day and not talk to another person, I will go crazy.
Mhm. And you talked a little bit about improv too. How did you get into improv, and what are some things you love about it or some things that scare you about it? Because I would be frightened. So kudos to you.
I started doing improv in college, my second year in college. I remember my freshman year, there were like audition signs, and I was really tempted to go, but I was too scared to get myself to the audition, so I didn't go. But my sophomore year, I was walking through like the student union building and just saw a kid with a sign that said improv auditions with an arrow pointing. And
Perfect.
I was like, I think that's probably a sign.
It
Like,
is.
I should just go. I auditioned and everybody that auditioned made it.
I
There were
love
only like
that.
there were only like 4 or 5 of us that auditioned that year, so it worked out great for me.
Love that.
But I've been doing it ever since. It's just a really wonderful group of people who, like, listen and support each other. Like, you can't be good at improv if you're not willing to just drop your own stuff and, like,
Mhm.
just go with whatever your scene partner brings you, so it attracts some really lovely people.
Yeah. That was gonna be my next question. Have you met a lot of interesting people through it?
Oh my
Any
gosh.
friends, any potential partners? Is it a potential dating pool? Are you like, "Nah."
I've met a ton of friends through improv. I've
Okay.
met a couple of guys here and there that I've gone on dates with. I think a
Mhm.
lot of people in the improv world are cautious to date each other because if it doesn't work out, you might end up on shows together or you have to see each other all the time. You can't like disconnect each other.
Right.
So
And
it's
then you'd have to,
a
like you'd have to do a bit about breakups or something, you'd have to, like, totally run with it.
yeah. Or it just gets messy because, like, your friends are also their friends, and if someone really doesn't do something good to the other person, then it can just spiral out of control. Yeah,
Mhm.
I've seen some nasty breakups, but I've also seen so many people get married. So, like, it's
Oh,
a toss-up, you never know.
yeah, which is, like, a metaphor of life in general outside
Right,
of improv, so,
exactly.
okay. Well, that's good to know. I'm curious what a sort of, like, improv 2 improv people dating would be like. Is it just, I wonder if they're just, like, cracking jokes all the time, walking around, and
I
it's
mean,
gotta be
even
fun.
with, like, any guy that I've dated that's not an improviser, it's just bits all the time.
Yeah.
It's just me cracking jokes or doing dumb voices and yeah, just always trying to have fun. I'm always trying to make myself and the people around me laugh,
Yeah.
and that's just all comedians wanna do all the time.
What is your favorite museum in Chicago?
What a great
And then I
quest.
wanna actually know outside of Chicago too. So if that's easier to answer, we can start there.
Outside of Chicago, I wanna say the most interesting museum I've ever been to, I think it was called, like, the House of Terror,
Ooh.
which does not sound like a museum, but it is. It's in Budapest, and it's all about the communist regime within Hungary and Budapest. It was fascinating. Each room was really dynamic and really different from, like, the last one you were in. Uh, it was just it's so hard to explain. Like, there's one room that's just, like, completely white, and then it has, like, some stuff on the floor, and it's supposed to be, like, a memorial for people who have passed away, and then you walk into a room that's, like, floor to ceiling propaganda posters with, like, a military uniform in the middle that's just, like, rotating on a platform.
My god.
They have, like, a full tank in there. It's wild. Like, I knew nothing about, like, communism in Hungary when I went, and I left
It made you want to. Yeah.
yeah. It was visually the most interesting museum I've ever been to.
So cool.
Yeah.
And then what about Chicago? Do we know?
Oh my gosh. I've been to a few. There's a few I wanna go to that I haven't been to yet.
Okay.
But right now, I would say the Chicago History Museum.
Okay. What is your evaluation criteria? Do you like something that is visually arresting when you walk in?
Not always,
Okay.
because sometimes, like, especially with the House of Terror, it can be overwhelming quickly.
Yeah.
But also, like, for art museums, museum fatigue is real. So, like, if you go in and you're just looking at white walls constantly, like, it can fully exhaust you. It's
Yeah.
something that's been studied. So,
Wow.
there's a balance between the 2 where, like, there are some people that go into museums and they read everything. There are some people that go in and kinda just look around and maybe they read something they're interested in, but they're more, like, attracted to the visual stuff.
Mhm.
I'm someone who goes in and looks for stuff that interests me, and then I'll spend time there. And
Oh, I love
I like it when museums have like a mix of updated displays with like, how do I describe this? Like updated displays, but they still keep like the rich history of whatever they're displaying.
Right.
Like the Field Museum does a really good job of that. They've got like some really dynamic, interesting stuff, but like they still got some cases that look like they're from the early 1900s and really
Yeah,
old. It's really cool.
that is cool. That's a cool juxtaposition to have old and new, I think, blended
Yeah.
together too.
Yeah.
If you could curate your own art exhibit, what would it be? What would it feature? What would it look like if you could do anything you wanted?
I would do an exhibit on the World's Fairs. So I wrote my thesis in grad school on the 1851 World's Fair in London. That was like technically considered the first World's Fair, though there were like smaller ones and different things before it. My favorite World's Fair is the Chicago one of 1893. So like moving here, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna go down to Jackson Park and I'm gonna see where like
Yeah,
the World's Fair happened, and when I, like, drove past the Midway, I was almost crying. So lame. But I would put on an exhibit not just of, like, the Chicago World's Fairs, but different World's Fairs across time and, like, what they meant for those different countries, like, highlighting both the good and the bad. Because like,
mhm.
a lot of these World's Fairs were not doing good stuff. So,
Like, what kind of stuff are we talking about?
they had a lot of different humans on display from,
Oh,
like, different countries.
oh wow. Outside of museums, what are some other places in Chicago that you like to visit? So like restaurants, bars, just hangout spots.
I spend a lot of my time at the IO Theater. I'm on, oh gosh, I can't even tell you how many improv teams or like shows I'm on, but most of them are through the IO Theater. So I spend a lot of time there. It's great. You can see shows, I think like 5 or 6 nights a week. They do classes, they're the best. I also will say, I don't always go out to eat a ton, but my favorite place, hands down in Chicago, is Sugar Moon Bakery.
Okay.
It's a bakery in Logan Square. It's only open Friday, Saturday, Sundays from like 9 a.m. until they close. So good.
What is the worst date that you've ever been on and why?
How many do you want?
Get right down to it.
Oh my God. I have so many to pick from. I'll go with this one.
Okay.
I went on a date with a guy who, like, we knew each other through people. So, like, I had never met him, but he knew someone I knew. We had been texting and things, were looking positive. Things were
Mhm.
good. We get to the date and
Uh-oh.
he was just like really awkward. And like, I just kind of had to like chug out the whole conversation. And then
Which if
he,
you're saying that, because I do feel like you seem like the type who could bring it out of anybody, you know?
yeah, I can. Yeah. It gets worse. There's like a lull in conversation for maybe like a split second. And he was like, do you know this person? And I was like, yeah, I went to high school with that person. And he goes, okay, cool. I got kicked out of fifth grade because I tried to stab him.
I'm
And
sorry,
my response literally, I out loud said, oof. I was like,
was there laughter coming from it? Like, is he like, I'm awkward, but I know I'm awkward and it works for me. It could work for me. It's charming, or
I think he was just really, really nervous for the date. And like, I understand that, but
yeah,
also like, like a first date for me is so low stakes. It's like we're
yeah,
just getting to meet each other. Like if things, don't work out, it's okay. It's just, an hour and a half, 2 hours of our lives, whatever it is.
right.
If we do end up liking each other, we can hang out again. It's nothing, but I think he put a lot of pressure on himself for that first
Okay.
date. And I did not need to, well, I mean, I probably did need to know that he had
Oh, it's
tried to
great.
stab a kid because I didn't want to be like a year into a relationship finding out,
Yeah,
oh, yeah, you tried to murder someone.
right, right. Helpful to find that out early, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you typically the one who is planning the date and like coming up with the activity, the itinerary, whatever it might be, or do you like the other person to be doing that?
Historically, I have been someone who kind of like prompts the dates, starts to plan stuff. And lately, I've tried to kind of lean back and stop doing as
Yeah.
much just because I want to see like his capacity to plan something and like follow through on it. And Granted, like, I've met plenty of guys who were like, "Okay, yeah, no, let's meet here at this time on this date." There have been guys who have made reservations. There are guys who have wanted to do, like, multiple things, and I've had to be like, "Okay, let's narrow it down
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
do, maybe one." So I feel very fortunate that I think I attract men that are, like, willing to make plans and want to,
Mhm.
um, but I'm also not against doing that myself either.
Yeah. The one thing about doing it yourself is that you know it'll be good.
That's so true. And we'll go somewhere I like.
But I do exactly, at least, like, the food will be good, it'll be at a fun place, whatever it is. But I do like that you're kind of, like, testing them because I do think that that's emblematic of other bigger things. Like, if they're not capable of putting in the work down the road,
Yeah.
or doing that stuff or don't want like, you don't wanna be the person who's constantly planning someone else's social calendar in
Yeah,
addition to
like,
your own.
I have a couple food allergies, and I always kinda use that as, like, a barometer for how, like, a date's gonna go, because if a guy's like, "Let's go get food," and I'm like, "I'm sorry, I can't eat there, like, I'm allergic to the entire menu."
Yeah,
A lot of times, guys will be like, "Okay, well, where else would you like to go? Like, are there options that you really enjoy?" Like, they're interested in finding another place, but I've
yeah.
had a couple guys just be like, "Well, then you have to choose because I don't know your life," or like, "I don't wanna deal with your allergies," and I'm like,
Gosh.
"Okay,
Yeah,
great,
you're like, "Believe me."
thanks."
Is there a specific kind of person that you typically gravitate towards or like a characteristic or a feature or something?
Yeah, I love a guy with a beard and a dad bod.
Yep.
And I've somehow dated quite a few men that either, like, play board games or D&D. So, it's not something I necessarily need a partner to do, but, like, I think it shows, like, the creativity and just, like, imagination that kinda goes
Yep.
along with improv, but I've just never been able to get into D&D.
Can I guess what that acronym stands for? Is it Dungeons& and Dragons?
Yeah,
S
yeah, got it.
I'm a gamer. I'm like,
Yeah, so, like, nerds. I like a good nerd with a dad bod
yeah,
and a
that's
beard.
great.
Yeah,
Okay, I
don't
like that.
need all of those things in a person, but, like, somehow that's always what I've
Yep.
been attracted to.
Do you find that there's a lot of that in Chicago? You're like, "Oh, I'm looking through the apps and there's a lot to work with here," or do you find that it's harder to find that type where you are?
So I've deleted all my dating apps.
What?
So
We should have started with that question. Oh my gosh. Good for
so
you.
there was I think there were a solid amount of guys that kinda met that criteria, um, and also probably more that didn't, but now that I'm off the apps, I have no idea.
That must be so freeing. What was that initial, because there's so many people in this position of just like they're sick of swiping, they don't wanna do it, it hasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah.
What was that moment that really made you be like, "Okay, I'm done."
It was a mix. So I had been on a couple dates, and they had been fine. Like, nothing really special, and then I had been, like, swiping through the apps, and 2 men in a row had wedding rings on in all of their photos.
They don't even try to hide it.
No, and I was like, "You know what? I'm done. Like, I'm
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and, like, chaperone you through your divorce.
No.
I'm good. When you're actually ready, maybe we can find each other, but
Yeah.
not right now." So I just decided, like, I'm going to take a break from the apps. I don't know how long it'll be, if it's forever or not. I would rather meet someone in person.
So in improv, I feel like there's that whole culture of it's almost like you have to say yes and to kind of keep scenes going, keep the bit going. Do you think that that philosophy can be applied to relationships too, or should be?
I think so. Think yes and no. That was so bad.
No, I actually love that. We're keeping that.
Dang it. It's always so important to turn towards your partner or like whoever you're dating. Like if somebody, it's like my sister's a therapist and she talks about this all the time where like if your partner says like, "Oh, look, there's a bird over there," and your first instinct to be is to be like, "I don't care." That's an indicator that like a relationship isn't healthy or going to work because you're not turning towards each other. Where
Okay.
like if your partner says, "Oh, hey, there's a bird," and you go, "Oh, wow, look, that's so cool." Like you're showing interest or like you at least acknowledge what the other
Right.
person has seen or experienced. And like that sort of yes anding is so important to me in a relationship.
Yep.
Like somebody like love bombing you right up top, like don't yes and that,
Yeah.
Don't love bomb them back.
Right. Right.
So, like, use judgment of when to yes and, but,
Yeah.
So there's one show that I do that takes up like a decent amount of my time. And it's called People Presenting Things. And it's a comedy show where comedians present PowerPoints that they've never seen.
They did this in, what's that joke group?
Impractical Jokers.
Yes.
Yeah.
That they cackle. It's so funny. And they can't
Yeah.
is the rule that you can't laugh?
They we try to like
Yeah.
let people do whatever they want. So like if they laugh, we're not gonna make them, do anything crazy. But
Right.
I have ideas for PowerPoints where like if the audience laughs, they have to do something. So like, I don't know. We're gonna experiment with some stuff, but like
Yeah.
there's a team of 3 of us here in Chicago that produce the show. So we're on the back end, like making all the PowerPoints, planning who gets to present
And
them,
just, like,
like
cackling. Not to be an astrology weirdo, but what does that make you then? What are we is that still a Libra?
I'm a Scorpio.
Okay. I don't think I know actually any Scorpios. What is their shtick? What are they known for?
Being really mysterious and really sexy.
Yes.
All I
We're
know is,
putting
like,
that we're putting that in the marketing for this episode. No context.
I just know, like, we're mysterious, we're sexy, we're moody, or, like, I don't know, I don't goth is, like, the word that comes to mind, but,
I
like
love this. I'm picturing, like, Wednesday Addams,
yeah, yeah,
which
basically.
love her. Iconic.
Which, like, I'm a Sagittarius rising, and my sister for Christmas last year got me an astrology reading because I knew nothing about astrology.
Yeah.
And apparently, like, you're born as your rising sign, and then throughout your life, you use your moon sign to become your sun sign.
Okay, see, I
Wild.
only know my sun sign though, so that's a problem. I gotta look up all of
Yeah.
these.
Those
I've
are the only 3 of my signs I know because
yeah.
I did a whole hour-long, like,
How was the
thing on
reading?
it.
Was it spot on?
Yeah,
Was it
weirdly
astrology or, like, psychic? Or both?
astrology.
Okay.
Yeah. He was like, "Oh, yeah, you probably do X, Y, and Z," and I was like, "Yeah, I do. I
Tell me
do
more.
do X, Y, and Z."
Yeah.
And then, I had, like, recently gone through a breakup, like, not long before I met him, and he was like, Was your partner this sign?" And I was like, "Yes." And he was like, "That's why these 2 aren't compatible. Like, this is why this happens." And I was like, "Why did you just read my relationship like a book and you've never met?"
Are there certain qualities or behaviors that flag to you that you're with someone special that you could be with? Do you think that and also, like, do you think that those would show up right away, or do you think sometimes those can take time to sort of, like, reveal themselves and build?
I think it's a mix. So there are ones that like absolutely you need time to like see how somebody reacts in different situations or like when you're sick, how do they support you or do they support you? Or like if you travel with someone internationally, like how
Yeah,
does that look? Are they someone you enjoy spending like a week on end with no breaks with?
right.
But then, if somebody doesn't make me laugh on a first date or if like I am the one holding up the entire conversation, it's not going to work.
What
Like
if they don't laugh at your jokes? That would offend me.
that's bad.
That's
It's
so bad.
happened. It's happened and it's not good. Like I have multiple degrees in comedy. If you're not laughing, you're wrong.
Okay, now we're at my favorite part of our podcast segments, which is when we play a fun game. So here's what we've cooked up for you. So, as our listeners now know, you host these amazing events where people give blind PowerPoint presentations. They basically are presenting slides that they've never seen before. So, we thought that we would have a little fun and flip that concept and apply it to dating.
Okay.
So, we're going to play a game where we show you some blind date scenarios. So, situations that might happen on a first date. And then
Mhm.
you tell us how you'd basically improvise your way through them.
Okay.
So, use your improv skills to yes and these situations that come up on first dates.
Oh gosh. Okay. We'll
Okay,
see.
so the first one is your date is really charming and funny, but they've checked their phone or Apple Watch 5 to 10 times during dinner. How do you handle it?
I would probably ask them if they were okay. Like, "Hey, is everything okay? Like, is everyone alive? Like, do you need to go somewhere? Or, like, do
Yeah.
you have a time limit? What's going on?" And then if they said no, I'd be like, "Okay."
Well, I have to go somewhere.
Like, I now have an appointment that I
Yeah.
need to get to. Thanks so much.
Next one. They mentioned they are technically still married, but have been separated for 8 months and the divorce is almost final. What's your response?
I would tell them I have an appointment. and I need to go.
I get
No, it's that one's tricky. I've never experienced that, but I did have a friend who went on a date with a guy who was fully married and hadn't even started the divorce process yet.
he
They're still
was
together.
about that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
They're still together. They're great. Love them. Yeah, he's fully divorced now. They're still together. It's
Oh, I
great.
love that ending. Okay. So there's hope for that.
There's hope. If someone see, this is where, like, the care part of my brain kicks in, and I'm like, "Okay, how much therapy have they done? Like,
Yeah.
how have they worked on themselves? Like,
Are
are
they
you
the
okay?" I'm
teenagers? Yeah.
just
Are
gonna be
you
like,
good?
"How are you feeling? You good?"
Yeah.
If you're still in the thick of it, I have an appointment that I
Totally.
need to go to.
Your date suggests going to a museum. He has been lovely so far, but once you're there, he tries to impress you with his knowledge about certain artifacts in order to impress you, only you know he's completely misinformed. What do you do?
I would ask him if he was okay, and then I would tell him I have an appointment I need to get to. Um I would probably in my if we go back to, like, what I've historically done, I would just probably listen and nod my head and be like, "Yeah,
Suffer through it?
yeah."
What a trooper. I think I'd take food poisoning real quick.
Sometimes you gotta just pick your battles, and
Yeah.
if some people think that they're right about a lot of stuff and they're not, just let them
It's
believe they are.
them
Just let them
problem.
live in their delusion.
Yep. Yep. We're sounding very Mel Robbins. Let them.
Let them.
Let them. Your date asks if you want to come back to their place just to hang out and watch something on a first date. What do you do?
I feel attacked because I have done this.
See, I was thinking the same when I read this. I was. I was like, is that supposed to be bad?
Like, great. Depends on the vibe. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll go, sometimes I won't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, if it wasn't going well and they asked me that, I'd probably what I usually say is, like, I give myself a time limit for dates. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, I give myself, like, a 2-hour time limit for first dates, and we're already there, so I need to go. That's been a good out for me
Okay.
quite a bit.
Yep. Next one. They tell you they don't really have close friends anymore because they've been so focused on work. Is this concerning or understandable?
I would ask them if they're okay. And that is, for me, not acceptable.
No.
I'm someone whose friends are their family. Like, friends are the most important thing in the world to me, and a job is a job.
Hmm.
Like, I grew up with my sister always telling me, like, "A job is just a job. Don't make your entire worth center around a job because you could lose it at any minute."
Yeah.
Which is great because then I made my entire self-worth operate around improv, and then during COVID, all we had was work and no improv. It was great for me. It just somebody who makes work their whole life, their values aren't going to align with my values.
Yep. Your date tells you about a time he stood up a girl he had been dating for a brief period. He was young and immature at the time, but the incident still haunts him. By stood up, let's go with like, does that mean, let's say it means ghosting,
Okay,
like ended the relationship just by ghosting, going dark after
okay,
dating them for a little bit.
okay. A little bit of a red flag, but not something to completely dismiss them by because I think we were all young and dumb once. And if it's still haunting this guy, like, clearly he has some kind of conscience
Yeah.
and cares about the fact that he, like, made a mistake and knows that it was knows
Hmm.
like, that says a lot to me that hopefully they won't make those mistakes in the future, but then again, I need to have my boundaries, and if, he ghosts me when we've planned something, cut it off there. Like,
Yeah.
don't continue to put effort into somebody who's like, "Hey, I previously did this, but, I'm not going to anymore." Like,
Hmm.
as soon as they show you who they really are, cut it
Believe them.
off.
Let them.
Let them. Just let them.
Okay, last one. Your date is going very well and you're both vibing and having a great time. He's enjoying the museum and learning about all the exhibits. He is totally smitten with you and all the knowledge you've been dropping. But then you get to a Copernicus exhibit or something and he casually mentions that the earth is flat.
They'd be like, "Ooh, tell
He's a
me
flat
more."
earther.
Like, oh my god, I don't think I've heard this theory. Like, what are you talking about? And then I would try to get him to explain everything to me.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, be like, "Oh my god, that's so great. Tell me the science." Like, but then what's on
This
the
would be
other
really great.
side? Like, and it's
Walk
when
me
it's
through the logic.
truly like, if it's something so dumb like that, sometimes I will play along with someone and
Yeah.
I'm like, please tell me how you got to this conclusion. It's
Walk me
oh,
through this conspiracy theory of yours.
yeah. And then like we'll see if he is open to changing his mind or learning new things.
Yeah.
And if he is, great. And if not, we might have to never see each other again.
Yep. Might have to part ways. That is
Yeah.
true. The ending, I think, is key.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if he starts to see the crazy as he's saying it out loud, love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
If not, he might see other pieces of the world, through that same lens. And then there starts to be a pattern.
Yeah. That's what I'm worried about. It's like if you believe one conspiracy theory a little bit too hard,
The slippery
how
slope.
many more? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that is the end of the game and the end of the episode, but we are so happy that you came on and shared your story with us. But we started to say this earlier, but can you tell everyone where and when they can attend a blind PowerPoint event if they're in Chicago?
Yeah, so it's called People Presenting Things. You can go to peoplepresentingthings.com or on Instagram, we're at People Presenting Things. The link to tickets is in there. We've got monthly shows at IO, so we're booked through the end of the year if you want to come see us in November or December.
Yay! And just for our listeners, you can get in touch with Kate for a date by going to our website or emailing our team at hello@eligiblein.com and requesting an introduction. And if you would like to be one of our guests or nominate someone else, you can also do that at eligiblein.com.
Thanks for listening to Eligible In, a production of Eligible In Media. Our theme song is by Monster Rally. If you see someone you like on our show, or if you would like to nominate yourself or someone you love to be interviewed by us, please visit us at eligiblein.com for more information, including a link to subscribe to our newsletter, where you can stay up to date on our newest episodes, as well as exclusive features of our eligible people.
Lovely.